Hello folks, it's Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. And this video I've called The Fear of the Learning Curve, because I had a bit of learning curve action myself yesterday and it made me think of this point that I've made before and I'm going to make again. And it's about the fear of the learning curve, because people are often scared of the learning curves. But when a learning curve is forced upon us in a situation where we don't have any choice, so we have to go on the learning curve. We might not like it, we might not be happy about it, but we do it. But when we don't have to do it, the fear of the learning curve suddenly becomes a factor. Oh, it's going to be too difficult. Oh, it's going to take too long. Oh, people are going to laugh at me. Oh, I'm going to fail and I don't want to have difficulties and setbacks and obstacles and the time it's going to take and people laughing at me and judging me, etc., etc., etc. That fear of the learning curve becomes a factor when we can choose to do it or choose not to do it. Now, I've spoken about personal responsibility and personal responsibility for our choices a lot. And if someone wants to choose to avoid the learning curve, to avoid the fear of it, okay, that's their choice. But I would suggest that it's a shame and that we do a disservice to ourselves and to those around us when we choose to avoid a learning curve just because of the fear of it. All those adventures and goals and ambitions and passions and dreams that we could go for, but we choose not to, because we choose to prefer to avoid the fear and difficulties, perhaps, of the learning curve. Whereas when we have to do them, we do them all the time. We go on a learning curve and we do face the difficulties. And yes, it might take a long time. And yes, people might laugh at us and point out our mistakes while we're learning, but we do it because we haven't got a choice. Surely that should drive home that it would be better then that when we do have a choice, we dive in the same way as when we don't have a choice. That's the point about the fear of the learning curve. In health, wealth, career, relationships or lifestyle, any of the 5 key areas, which learning curves have you been avoiding? Have you chosen to avoid because you can't be bothered or you're afraid of the learning curve? Would it be better if you stopped choosing to avoid it and chose to embark on the learning curve anyway? Now, my learning curve action yesterday was to do with LinkedIn. Starting 2020 to develop my LinkedIn activity afresh, having had a dormant account for donkey's years, but putting my foot down on it this year. And I thought that I had been doing LinkedIn Lives because the Facebook algorithm loves Facebook Lives, and my assumption was that LinkedIn Lives was the same. And I'd been learning from a LinkedIn coach, and she said that LinkedIn sometimes has a glitch where it won't post the videos after you finished it. And I found this happening to me a couple of times. Done videos 9 minutes long, hit the post button afterwards and it just said no, failed. Oh, frustrating and lots of bad words. And after it happened yesterday, again, I decided that I would employ one of what I call the 4 magic A words, ask. So I actually posted on LinkedIn, is anyone else having problems with LinkedIn Lives, or is it just me? Is it a glitch, something that's common at the moment, or is it something that I'm doing wrong? And here's what happens when you employ that magic A word, ask. I got an answer. And the answer was, I hadn't been doing LinkedIn Lives at all. I had just been using a function on the LinkedIn platform, which means that you can record a video, then hit a button and it posts it straight away. So it saves you having to record it on the camera and then upload it later. You can just do it there and then. So it saves a very small step, but it does save a step. But there was ambiguity there because I thought I had been doing lives all the time and I hadn't. So I laughed at me being on the learning curve, that I just hadn't known that all along. but now I did know it. So I smiled at the power of the ask word, and also this learning curve idea that I'd learnt something new. And the only way I had got to that question and got to learning that something new was by getting it wrong, by going on the learning curve. And it's a LinkedIn learning curve that I had chosen to go on. I could choose to think, oh, I can't be bothered to learn how to all the intricacies of yet another social media platform. I can't be bothered, so I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to do it. But I chose to do it because of the various advantages that LinkedIn has as a platform over perhaps some other platforms. So there we go. Let me know about your learning curves. What learning curves are you on at the moment? What learning curves are you choosing to avoid, and have you chosen to avoid, maybe over a long period of time? And would it maybe be better if you chose to jump in and embark and move along that learning curve? I'm still smiling at it now. Right, okay, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Signing off for now and wishing you, as ever, health and happiness. I'll speak to you again soon.